Debo was right. 3 are left. They give it to McCaffrey off the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Touchdown! CMC!
Weekend Warriors, of course, highlighted by that guy right there, Christian McCaffrey, who we got the Cowboys, the 49ers for the first time ever on Sunday Night Football. You're loving this promo.
I do, because it's popcorn. I love popcorn. Popcorn's one of my big snacks, so I like it a lot.
We can confirm. Yeah. No, you've been gobbling it down in the ad break. Absolutely gobbling.
During the break.
Christian McCaffrey's good. Had an excellent game.
Yeah,
can I just
break
say,
this
though?
down. What can we say about Christian McCaffrey that we haven't said before? He's awesome. He should have been the number 1 player picked in fantasy drafts this year. He's amazing. He's our one true king.
I mean, he is kind of tier 1 by himself of fantasy players at the moment. I would say even above guys like Justin Jefferson and Tirico Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Among running backs, it's clearly him, and then there is a gap to whoever is number 2, really. And you can make a case for a few guys.
And there's Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs also on Steven D'Agostino's team. All the players have been crappy all year long, and then they just show
Jacobs
up
is no good. He didn't win the rushing title last year.
They play me until they're going off.
Can I just say about Christian McCaffrey? Can we
sir.
please stop the McCaffrey MVP stuff? He's not the most valuable player on his own team. If only we had a game to reference where Brock Purdy got injured in the first half and see what the Niners look like without Brock Purdy. We did. The NFC title game where they had a non-functional offense without Brock Purdy. Purdy leads the league in passer rating in QBR. Since he came into the league, he's number 1 in EPA per play among quarterbacks. He's 25-1 to win MVP. It's completely insane. He has longer odds than McCaffrey. I'm sorry, Purdy is much more important to that team than Christian McCaffrey. And I get it because his name is Brock Purdy and he was the last pick in the draft, but he's legitimately good at this point. And look, no one thinks he's the best quarterback in the league, but if you have the best season, then you win MVP. He should be like the 4th favorite for MVP, not have longer odds than Justin Herbert and Christian McCaffrey.
He won't, though. I feel like that's lost money if you put money on Brock Purdy to win MVP because there's no way he wins it.
He doesn't get the credit.
That's right.
I think
if the Niners, here's where the credit will go. It'll go to Shanahan for Coach of the Year. Maybe it goes to
McCaffrey can win Offensive Player of the Year. I just think that if you lead the league in every efficiency metric on the best team and you're the quarterback, then all of a sudden, here's the thing.
The MVP will go to the AFC champion. It'll go to Josh Allen or whoever.
Yeah, but people don't think of Brock Purdy as an MVP caliber player. If he beats up on the Cowboys and makes some big plays on Sunday Night Football, then all of a sudden the narrative shifts. So actually, Brock Purdy is a legitimate top 6, top 7 quarterback.
I disagree.
No,
I think the media has made up their mind, and I think that even if he does that, they'll be like, look at the scheme. Look, Kyle Shanahan scheming it open. I could hit Deebo Samuel. He's so wide open. Look at that. What an unbelievable run after the catch by George Kittle. That's what it's going to be. Brock Purdy will never get credit.
Also schemes up really good plays? Andy Reid. Does that take away from Mahomes having Kelsey and Tyreek Hill when he was winning MVP?
Except Patrick Mahomes was still a first-round pick who can throw the ball 80 yards from his knees. Yeah. It just is what it is. Anyway, we should move on. Christian McCaffrey's very good.
One that's a little bit more unique to Weekend Warriors.
There you go. That's my big takeaway.
Yes. Start
in terms of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, keep it open.
Yeah, listen, keep it open, right? Exactly. Brandon Ayuk was good as well. Debo didn't do much. He was hurt coming into the game, but whatever.
Another Weekend Warrior, rookie Michael Wilson
Let's go.
on the Cardinals. Caught all 7 of his targets for 76 yards, but most importantly, why he makes this list, guys, Michael Wilson had 2 touchdowns, and this is now back-to-back weeks here, Barry, where Wilson is really cementing his role in Arizona's passing attack under Josh Dobbs.
He is. He had a nice camp, and he's secretly sort of been the guy. And I think one of the reasons he didn't get more attention is because no one thought Arizona was going to be any good. And we've talked about this a lot. By the way, Josh Dobbs will be on our waiver wire tomorrow as well. Josh Dobbs is a QB1 through 4 weeks of the season. He's a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Josh Dobbs has proven 2 things. He deserves to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, and more importantly, he is good enough to make players relevant in fantasy, even in tough matchups. And that's what he did here. Marquise Brown had a decent game. Zach Ertz, should have had a touchdown. Don't get me started as somebody who had the Cardinals plus 14. At the end of Zach Ertz did. But no, Michael Wilson is his 3rd straight game with, 55 or more receiving yards. They play the Bengals, they're at the Rams, they're at Seattle, home to Baltimore. Not a schedule that scares you. as well. And so we'll dive more into where you should rank him in the waiver column tomorrow. But I think this is more real than not. Again, he's had a really nice camp. He's a talented player. I mean, you tell me, like, where did you grade out Wilson when he came out of school?
He would have been a top 5 wide receiver last year for everybody. He just barely played football for the better part of 3 years. It was always something. He had a significant foot injury, another lower body injury. He goes to the Senior Bowl. He looks like maybe the best offensive player on the field watching those practices where you're going, okay, this is realistically a back-end of round 1 talent with day 3 medical. So he goes on day 2. That's basically how it goes. So the talent is phenomenal. If he stays healthy, this is who he is. This is not a fluke.
Yep. And look, the takeaway is Josh Dobbs is real. The fact that he goes 28 of 41 for 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, only takes 1 sack, had multiple touchdowns dropped as well. Should have had a much better day.
Correct.
And he's got weapons in Brown and Ertz when he's not dropping touchdowns, and Wilson and Connor in the backfield's been phenomenal. Didn't have a big day yesterday because the game script. But
a big fight after the game.
Yeah, this is a legit offense, and Dobbs is a legit quarterback.
Yeah. Marquise Brown, by the way, on my team against Steven. Drop the touchdown. Don't get me started.
It was a 7 for 96 is fine.
Jay, another pass catcher with a big day, Nico Collins. He caught 7 of his 9 targets for 168 yards and 2 touchdowns. As C.J. Stroud goes, so do these Texans pass catchers.
Yep, and last week it was Tank Dell. This week it's Nico Collins. Nico Collins is an elite wide receiver at this point. And the big thing here, again, it's so tied to the quarterback. C.J. Stroud has been phenomenal in his first month in the NFL. And to me, the most stunning stat about Stroud is that behind that offensive line, where now we have backups getting injured and backups of the backup coming in, and going up against TJ Watt and the Steelers, didn't take a sack the week before against Jacksonville. He's been so good at avoiding pressure, at stepping up in the pocket, and guys like Nico Collins and Tank Dell are benefiting.
Barry, Alvin Kamara, big day for fantasy because he has over 21 points, but an odd stat line, 11 carries, 51 yards. Get this, 13 receptions for 33 yards.
It's insane. And hey, Steven, throw up the tweet that I sent you. So I saw this on X this morning. This is from John Lagaza. Per True Media, 137 NFL players have gotten 13 or more receptions in a game since 2000. Only 5 managed under 80 receiving yards doing it when they got 13 or more receptions in a game, right? Jarvis Landry had 78, Julian Edelman 78, Jalen Samuel 73, LaDainian Tomlinson 72, Alvin Kamara 33. It's almost statistically impossible.
You think that's crazy? It's the fewest receiving yards by a player with 10-plus receptions in a game since 1970. And per producer Damien, it's not just since 1970. That's just how far back the database goes. This has basically never been done.
By the way, I'm the only person in this table that was actually alive in 1970. Just so you know, I was born in 1969. Like, that's how old I am. Like, I mean, just so you know, by the way, like December 29th, 1969. So I mean, like, just barely alive in 1970. Like, I don't remember.
Child
you know
of
what
the
I mean?
60s.
So
Backdoor cover.
Right, exactly, 100%.
What the Cardinals couldn't do.
No. So it'll be really interesting to see. Like, the positives here is the usage, right? Like he had a 75% snap rate. Of the 28 teams running back touches, he got 24 of them. Derek Carr was a surprise start, after injuring his shoulder, and so maybe that was it. He needed to dump off. He felt like he couldn't chuck it deep. I don't know. This is weird, but this also makes me nervous because, again, I don't think you can count on this kind of usage. By the way, coming up, they're at New England. That's a tough matchup. They're at Houston. That's a much better defense than they get credit for. Home to Jacksonville, again, like a solid defense at Indy. So it's not, it'll be interesting to see. You're happy to see it, but I think the jury's still out on what Kamara will be this year.
I think the jury's still out on the Saints offense in general. This is 2 years in a row where they've just looked so stuck in the mud. And this team has so much talent, and we'll get to Cris Olave, but between him, the rejuvenated Michael Thomas, Derek Carr is an upgraded quarterback. They just cannot get out of the mud. And this just is, it should be a more explosive offense, and it's just not.
Yeah, and Carr doesn't look right. But we'll get more into the Saints.
We can go.
We'll get more into the Saints offense.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.